بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Kitab Sharh Ajab al-Qalb, The Marvels of the Heart. This is book 21 of Ihya Ulum al-Din, The Revival of the Religious Sciences, the Islamic Sciences, translated by Walter James Skelly. And what a translation and what a good academic work. We have read a little bit into chapter 11, and we have the very last thing that we spoke about was the fact that Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, rahimahullah, did resort to allegorical interpretation of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that the heart of the mu'min is between two fingers of the merciful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and of course nothing is like unto him. ليس كمثله شيء. Nothing resembles Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and of course no anthropomorphic attributes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of them should be allegorically, metaphorically interpreted, such as the hand of God, the two hands of God, the hands of God, the power of God, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is omnipotent, just to give a few examples. And I remember saying that of the school that the people that think of themselves as belonging to Imam Ahmad school, the Hanbali school, they really did not follow his methodology, because as Imam Ghazali said, that in at least three cases, three texts that he resorted, he accepted allegorical interpretation, whereby it seems that some of the more modern contemporary scholars, they do not accept allegorical interpretation altogether, and this is a serious problem. Let me just say that the heads of the Hanbali school in Baghdad, Abu Wafa' ibn Aqil and Al-Khattabi, both of them, rahimahullah, attended Imam Al-Ghazali's lectures at the Nizamiya school. Since it is mentioned in our books, it means that at least they went once. I doubt that it is only once, though. And historically, there were Hanbalites who were Ash'arites. This might come as a surprise to some people, but this is really the truth. Now, Imam Ghazali continues. We are on page 80, top of page 80 of this book. God exalted does what he does by constraining the angel and the demon, the two of them being forced by his power, by Allah's power, to turn hearts, even as, for example, your fingers are compelled by you to turn objects. The heart, in its original innate condition, is fitted to receive the influences of angels and demon alike, with no preponderance of the one over the other. The preponderance of the one side over the other is, however, brought about by following desire, hawa, and giving oneself over to the appetites, or by turning from and opposing them. Elsewhere, Imam Al-Ghazali would say that there is a continuous battle between the soldiers of the angels and the soldiers of the demons, and the battleground is one's heart, really. And it's an ongoing battle unless you succeed in obliterating the army of Satan, changing the nature of things. But it is really an ongoing struggle between good and evil. This is what it is. It's in your heart. It's in reality. There's an ongoing battle between good and evil. When a man follows the dictates of anger and impotence, the domination of the demon through desire appears, and the heart becomes the nest of the demon and his seat. Um, Really, the connotations of the nest, because by nesting, it means simply that there's taking deep roots, taking simply almost like colonizing the heart and the language of the colonizers. And it seems that the colonizers do share something with Satan, uh, evil, pure evil. Desire is the pasture of the demon and his abundant provision. But when a man strives against the appetites and does not give them rule over him, and imitates the moral character of the angels, alayhim salam, then his heart becomes the habitation and resting place of the angels. Since no heart is devoid of appetence, anger, miserliness, covetousness, hope of long life, and other human qualities that originate in desire. Without doubt, there is no heart in which a demon does not roam about, prompting it to evil. In regard to this, the Prophet ﷺ said, and this is hadith narrated by Imam Muslim, according to Imam Al-Iraqi. So the Prophet ﷺ said, "There is not one of you but has a demon." They asked, "And you, O Messenger of God?" He said, "And I also, save that God helped me to gain the victory over him, and he became a Muslim, and commands only good." This is because the demon works only through appetence. So when God, the end of the hadith, and commands only good. This is because the demon works only through appetence. So when God has given anyone the victory over appetence, so that it extends only in proper directions and within proper limits, then appetence does not invite to evil, and the demon that is armed thereby commands not but good. Whenever the thought of this present world predominates in the heart because of the demands of desire, then the demon finds an opportunity and prompts to evil. But when the heart is devoted exclusively to the remembrance of God, the exalted, subhanahu wa ta'ala, the demon leaves it, and his field is straightened, it contracts, and the angel draws near and inspires. In the battle of the heart, there are constant attacks and counterattacks between the forces of the angels and demons until it is conquered by one of them, which takes up residence and abode therein. When the second enters, he takes it by a trick. Most hearts have been conquered and occupied by the troops of demons, and so are filled with promptings to evil, which call for the preference of the swiftly passing world and the casting aside of the world to come. The starting point of their occupation is the following of the appetites and desire. After this takes place, the heart cannot be reconquered except by emptying it of the demon's nourishment, which is desire and the appetites, and rebuilding it by means of remembrance of God, the Exalted, which is the place of angelic influence. So they talk about if the heart is a residence, the heart is a house, the heart is the. Here we talk about renovation, uh, a radical renovation. In this case, getting rid of all the things that help Satan. You are going to delete files and applications that Satan downloaded in your heart, even when you are asleep. So you go to bed, you sleep, and Satan does not. Jarir ibn Ubaidillah al-Adawi said, I complained to Ala bin Ziyad, I do not find my promptings to evil in my breast. He said, this is like a house that thieves pass by. If there's anything in it, they take it. Otherwise, they pass on and leave it. I think the Arabic text of Jabir, and when he complained to Ala bin Ziyad, he complained about ما أجد في صدري من الوسوسة. So he complained. He said, this is the English translation. I do not find any promptings to evil in my breast. That's not the sense I get from the Arabic text. He finds ما أجد. It's not a negation. This is about what he finds of this waswasa in his breast. So the whispering, the doubt, the whispering, uh, Satan's whispering, if you will. So I think the Arabic is the opposite of the English in this case. We are on. This is the second paragraph on page 81 in the English translation. So but the comment is true of the comment of the translation of the response that Al-Ala bin Ziyad said. The response was that this is like a house that thieves pass by. If there is anything in it, they take it. Otherwise, they pass on and leave it. That is to say, the demon does not enter the heart that is devoid of desire. Regarding this, God exalted said, Indeed, you have no authority over my servants. Inna ibadi laysa laka alayhim sultan. But whosoever follows desire is the servant of desire, not a servant of God. Therefore, God gives the demon power over him. The Exalted Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, Have you seen the one who takes his desire as his God? أفرأيت من اتخذ إلهه هواه. This indicates that his desire is his God and the object of his worship. And so he is a servant of his desire, not a servant of God. Uh, think about it back to another argument about the translation of Jarir bin Ubaidillah al-Adawi's. He said, I complained, shakautu. If there is no promptings to evil in your breast, why would you complain? You complain when there is something wrong. That's another way of looking at the wrong translation. Okay, we continue reading. So after this, the translation of the verse, have you seen the one who takes his desire as God? This indicates, Imam Ghazali comments on this verse, that his desire is his God and the object of his worship, and so he is a servant of his desire, not a servant of God. Uthman bin Abi al-Asi said to the Prophet ﷺ, first of all, I commend the good work of the translator of Water James Kelly, because he found that because the original name in Arabic in the text of Imam Al-Ghazali is Amr bin al-As. Amr bin al-As. So he corrected it to Uthman bin Abi al-Asi. He also inserted there a footnote explaining that he found in Zabidi that it is rather Uthman ibn Abi al-As, not Amr bin al-As, which is really commendable. And Zabidi said that it's a mistake. It's a mistake that it was written Amr bin al-As. In the text of the Zabidi, والصواب هو عثمان بن أبي العاص وهو أبو عبد الله الثقفي الطائفي أخو الحكم بن أبي العاص، ولهما صحبة. قدم على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في وفد ثقيف، واستعمله النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على الكوفة، ثم أقره بكر وعمر. He passed away in the year 51 of the Hijri calendar. So he he's a companion, radiallahu anh, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used him as a governor, for the city of Kufa in Iraq, and he remained so also during the time of Bakr and Umar. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with them. So the hadith, he said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "O Messenger of God, the demon has kept me from my prayer and reciting the Quran." He replied, "That demon is called Khinzib." Now this hadith does not have a strong really chain of narrators, but nevertheless we'll read it and comment on this. So whenever you are conscious of his presence, take refuge from him with God, and spit 3 times to your left. He said, "I did so, and God sent him away from me." A narration that says that ceremonial purification wudu has a demon called Walhan, so take refuge from him with God. The evil prompting of Satan is not removed from the heart save by the remembrance of that which is other than what he suggests. So basically, despite that the hadith has a weak chain of narrators, it's if there's anything that we can learn from this, is the power of prayer, of supplication, seeking refuge in him, take refuge from him with God. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. You ask for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection. The evil promptings of Satan is not removed from the heart save by the remembrance of that which is other than what he suggests. For if there is suggested to the heart the thought of anything, what has been in it previously is annihilated, overriding, if you will, everything other than God the Exalted, and what is connected with him may possibly become a field for Satan's activity. The remembrance of God is the safe side, for it is known that there is no room for Satan there. A thing is treated only by its opposite, and the opposite, the antithesis, the antidote, the opposite. And the opposite of all the evil promptings of Satan is the remembrance of God by taking refuge with him and disdaining strength and power. This is what you mean when you say, I take refuge with God from Satan the accursed. And there's no strength nor power save in God the High and the Mighty. This is the first one, of course, is أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. The second one, لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. This can be done. This can be done only by the pious in whom the remembrance of God the Exalted predominates, and Satan only approaches them as by a sly trick at the times of their blunders. Falatat. God the Exalted said, Indeed, those who fear God, when a thought touches them from Satan, they remember God, and at once they have insight. إن الذين اتقوا إذا مسهم طائف من الشيطان تذكروا فإذا هم مبصرون. In regard to the meaning of the statement of God the Exalted from the following, from the evil of the retreating whisperer, من شر الوسواس الخناس. So Mujahid said about the meaning, he said, he, meaning Satan, stretches out his authority over the heart. If God exalted is remembered, he, meaning Satan, slinks away and crouches down. But if this is carelessly overlooked, he stretches out his authority over the heart. The mutual hostility, التطارد, between light and darkness and night and day. So the mutual hostility, التطارد, existing between the remembrance of God, the Exalted, and the evil promptings of Satan is like the mutual hostility between light and darkness. And night and day. Maybe it's just like in Arabic we don't have the hostility in between. And I have to say it because when people read, they might say, okay, in Islam there's hostility between night and day and light and darkness and the. No, simply tatarud. It's simply one following the other. One really, if one is present, the other one disappears. It's not there. And in the Quran is very clear that the morning light, talked about the dawn. That's when we start. So the end of the pitch darkness of the night and the first light of the day, and slowly the no more night and it's broad day light. So hostility is not there in the Arabic text. Of their mutual opposition, God the Exalted said, Satan has overcome them and made them forget the remembrance of God. استحوذ عليهم الشيطان فأنساهم ذكر الله. Now there's we will mention this hadith. It is ضعيف, but I love the image. I have to admit sometimes it's so again this is a weak tradition. Anas quotes the Messenger of God sallallahu alaihi wasallam as having said, Satan places his snout, I think about it like an elephant snout, on the heart of the son of Adam. If he remembers God, the exalted Satan slinks away, but if he forgets God, the exalted Satan gobbles up his heart. Okay. The image I have is almost like think about it like mid-air refueling, and you have the boom and the nozzle between the two. The larger, the tanker, it's a tanker, but it's flying, and the usual while there are different types of airplanes that are refueled, and they have a nozzle, and in this case, the smaller aircraft approaches the boom until there is it locks it for the boom to start uh, refueling. And somehow I did say this before, and the image of Satan downloading things into the human being. So sometimes it's a moment of weakness. There is no remembrance. There is no dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're not seeking refuge. Uh, Ablution and purity, both physical and spiritual, are not the norm. And Satan finds a weak spot in one's defense, spiritual defense mechanism. Your antivirus, anti-Satan program is not really up to date, and Satan downloads things into your mind, your heart. This is really a reality. This what's the waswas, if not that. So one has to update, and against all the tricks of Satan, one should continue to seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One should really try as much as possible to be God conscientious and remember the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and use this application. I mean, the Prophet ﷺ wanted us to use these supplications, and practically we have supplication for every occasion. But do remember that when you go to bed, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to you know to there are the prayers you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to really to protect you. The real dua is in thy name I lay down my side. If you take away my soul, my spirit, forgive it. And if you leave it, then protect it in the manner you protect your good servants. And you recite the Ma'udatain, you recite other chapters that people should really use them to protect them from the Satan's whisper. Suffice it, inshallah, for this session, and we'll continue still with chapter 11 in the next session, inshallah, top page 83. Until then, بإذن الله عز وجل سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.